Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Friday. In the last video in our Developing Adult Mind series, I am Piper Harris, the coach and CEO of Poema Women's Success Coaching. So if this is the first time joining me, welcome. This is my Caring Through COVID series, and this is something that I'm trying to bring to you every single day, some videos to give you a little bit to think about, maybe some tips and tools that you can add to your toolbox. So if you haven't joined me this week, make sure you go back to my YouTube channel, where you can find all these videos at piperharris.net/COVID. Just scroll down to the bottom of the page and you can catch up on everything. So today, as I said, we are rounding out on talking about the developing adult mind. On Monday, we dove into the 4 mind traps that we can fall into that's really going to be exhibited in defensiveness. I know a lot of us have seen defensiveness right now. Then we talked about the first stage of the adult mind and what that looks like. It's the first step above the childlike mind. This mind, the self-sovereign mind, really gets kind of caught up in those mind traps. Wednesday, we had a Lunch and Learn series for Caring Through COVID, and we discussed with my special guest, Christiana George, we discussed mindfulness and self-compassion, something that you can practice both personally and professionally, something you can bring into the organization, especially right now. And then yesterday we discussed 2 of the next stages of the adult mind. So today we are rounding it out. We're rounding it out with the final stage of the adult mind. So remember, the development of the adult mind, we go in sequential steps. We can also, what we found with stress, it can induce a, reverting in behavior. So a degradation in behavior. So the reason I'm bringing this information to you is to help you think about those situations that you're in. Maybe you have a leader that's not quite acting like they usually do. This just helps you to understand how the mind works. And I think a lot of times when we can look at the tangible, we can look at the science, it gives us that moment, that beat to take a breath and to express empathy before we react, especially right now in the midst of COVID. So to round things out, as I said today, we are jumping into our final development of the adult mind. This is the self-transforming mind. Now, the self-transforming mind, less than 10% of the world's population is here, okay? Less than 10% of the adults do this. So really, this individual, what they are is they are able to recognize they're searching for and they're relishing the next thing that might challenge them. They are the writers of their future, but they also really embrace that they don't have complete control. So they have deeply held belief systems, but they might be challenged, and that's okay with them. And so this individual is less fixated on their own success as much as being open to the whole, being open to whatever could come their way, looking at any situation, people, whatever it is, as a whole. It's the interconnectedness that they really thrive in. So that is the final development of the adult mind. And as I said, go back and watch the other videos from this week. So before we round out the series, I want you to consider a few things. As I said, I'm hoping to teach you about the developmental stages of the mind to help you think things through, take a beat, give empathy to those around you. But I want you to ask yourself 3 questions as you're considering your mind, considering your development, and how can you continue to grow. In fact, this week I said to my clients, and I said on my social media posts, if you follow me, I said, you have the opportunity right now to stop growing or to start growing. And it truly is up to you. So ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, why do I believe what I believe? This is a big one, because as we learned through this past week that many times our socialized mind, that second stage, is created by external forces, what people are telling us, that we harness their opinions rather than looking through our own lens. So why do you believe what you believe? This is something I also work with my clients. We are always digging through their belief systems. Is this something that you truly believe, or is this something that you've adopted from an external source, whether that's home life, professional life, whatever it may be? So ask yourself, why do I believe what I believe? Excuse me. The second question is, How could I be wrong? Yes, you don't have the answer to every single question. And this, again, a part of this series is for us to take a beat and think things through, to allow us that time to just process our feelings, our thought processes, the definitions that we've created for ourselves, and say, how could I be wrong in this assessment? How could I be wrong in this reaction? It is so very important for us to be reflective, especially now, because a lot of us are under such immense stress and strain. We are going to react in ways that we don't typically mean to. So in those moments, stop yourself and ask yourself, how could I be wrong in this moment? How could I be wrong in these definitions that I'm thrusting onto others? The third question, and one I've been asking my clients all week, and frankly, what I've been asking myself all week, is who do I want to become? Who do I want to become? Or who do I want to be next? As I said, we have the opportunity to stop growing or to start growing during the COVID crisis. We have the opportunity to become more. At the end of this, and I do truly believe we will get to the end of this, how do you want to reflect back on this? Did you spend your time at home binging every single Netflix series? Or did you spend time saying, this is who I want to become, and actively pursue those things? And who do you want to become doesn't have to be this mountaintop that you're going to scale and you're going to get to at the end of this. It could be as much as, who I want to become is someone that gets up and makes my bed every day. Who I want to become is, I want to do that to-do list every single day. Who I want to become is, I want to finally write that book. Who I want to become is someone that practices self-care. Who I want to become is a growing leader. Who I want to become is a better listener, more empathetic, more innovative, more creative. So asking yourself, who do I want to become? Who do I want to be next? These three questions are just so key during this time. I know that I have had quite a few days where I don't want to think about the questions. I don't want to put one foot in front of the other, because the fear and anxiety can take over. However, when I ask myself, do I want to stop growing or do I want to start growing? That really spurs me into this thought process of, how can I be wrong in my thought process right now? How can I do better? And who do I want to become at the end of this? So I've really enjoyed sharing with you this week the stages of the adult developing mind. And we're going to continue this Caring Through COVID series next week. Next week, we are going to be talking about how we can pursue different creative outlets while we're stuck at home, while we're sheltering in place. And next week, for our Lunch and Learn series, I have my special guest, Kanisha Griffin. She is an author. She has written an amazing book called Once Upon a Child, and it is her memoir of pain, of her lost pregnancies, of her miscarriages. But what's wonderful about our Lunch and Learn with her is she is going to show us how to harness the creative outlet of writing. So I hope that you will join us next week. I will make sure to send all kinds of information out so you can join us live for our Lunch and Learn next week. But as I said, this coming week, we're going to be talking about how can we use different creative outlets to break us free of this fear and anxiety that we're feeling in COVID, and what we can do with our families that are surrounding us. So I hope that you will join me next week. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are having a pretty good Friday. And I pray that this weekend is one of restfulness, is one of peace, and that you are getting the help you need. And I pray for each and every one of you. I would love to hear from you. If you are looking for more support, reach out to me. I would love to speak to you. But all that to be said, thanks again for joining me for this week's series on the adult developing mind. I am Piper Harris with Poema Women's Success Coaching. Thanks so much for joining me. Make sure to head on over to piperharris.net/COVID for all kinds of free resources just for you during this time. Thanks so much. Be well, and I'll talk to you next week.